I'm Anthony.
I'm Rashawn.
And we do collegiate sports. Segments of the sports industry. Organizational is the main point. It provides information about the power and communication structures within the organization. The second one is managerial. Being able to manage small and large groups of people, very important in this workforce. Financial, you need to be able to manage your money within the organization, and mostly like finance scholarships if you're dealing with colleges. And also has to deal with a bunch of legal issues, which is understanding of the rules and regulations, Title IX, all that. And the NCAA was first organized in 1905. Continued of this, the conference realignment's a main point of this. It's exposure. Why they do conference realignment is for exposure for television contracts with different conferences, potential for more revenue and money for television corporate sponsorships. It's all about the money, so however they could get more for their buck. And the difficulty for independent schools experience in scheduling their games and generating like revenue. So that's also a main point. And the ability of a conference to hold a championship. Those generate millions of dollars within an organization. And Nebraska, that's kind of one of the main things, like Nebraska just joined the Big Ten. So everyone's all mixing up conferences. Other ways that universities make money, the Longhorn Network, I'm pretty sure you guys have all heard of that. Texas has their own network for all of their games. Notre Dame, they're independent. There's no expenses towards any conferences. They don't have to pay the Big Ten, the SEC. They're independent. So powerhouse schools like Ohio State, Texas, Alabama, USC, and LSU, they create revenue from weekly games and sponsorships. They also have like 100,000 plus people come to each game. So that's generating a lot of extra income. Also, they have TV contracts. Another main point, they get their money, alumni and booster donations from previous players. They also, they will donate money towards their college pretty much any time.
History of intercollegiate competition. On August 3rd, 1852, a crew race between Harvard and Yale was the first intercollegiate event in the United States. It was held in Lake. Oh no. You know what I'm talking about? This is what we covered now.
In New Hampshire.
Yeah, in New Hampshire, because it was sponsored by the Boston Concord and Montreal Railroad Company. The company wanted to host their event in New Hampshire, so in order to get the event, they must board the railroad. Lead to increase in income for the railroad company. This intercollegiate event involves sponsorship by a company that provided income for competition. Second was baseball to hold an intercollegiate contest in 1859. The baseball contest was between Amherst and Williams. Amherst won 73-32. Amherst and Williams are two of today's more athletically successful Division III institutions. And the third intercollegiate sport to hold a game was football in 1869. The game featured Rutgers and Princeton. Competitors were allowed to kick and dribble the ball similar to soccer, with Rutgers out dribbling their opponents 6-4. The Ivy League schools were considered powerhouses in the beginning of athletic competition. Students ran and organized everything from the events, managing practices, and getting the teams together and all that stuff. As pressure to win increased, students started to realize that they needed external help. In 1864, the first coach was hired to the Yale crew team. Intercollegiate Football Association. It formed as a result in no governing organization, virtually non-existent playing and eligibility rules. Mayhem often resulted, and students had to take charge. It was made up of students from Harvard, Yale, Princeton, and Columbia who agreed on consistent playing and eligibility rules. the Intercollegiate Conference of Faculty Representatives, the / Big Ten Conference. The dangerous nature of football pushed faculty and administrators to getting involved in governing intercollegiate athletics to make football safer or to ban it altogether. Princeton University became the first college to form a faculty of athletics committee to review football. Harvard's Board of Overseers instructed the Harvard Faculty Athletics Committee to ban football. Aided by influential alumni, they chose to keep the game intact. Intercollegiate Conference of Faculty Representatives, Big Ten Conference, was formed to create student eligibility rules. Football on college campuses became immensely popular, receiving attention from students, alumni, and collegiate administrators. The number of injuries, deaths in football continued to increase, and it was evident that more legislative action was needed. Intercollegiate Athletic Association / NCAA. In 1905, 18 players died and 149 were seriously injured from the game of football, including a halfback from Union College who died from a cerebral hemorrhage that was witnessed by Henry Mitchell McCracken. McCracken, he was a professor at NYU, and McCracken decided to take it upon himself to do something about it. He sent a letter of invitation to presidents of all other schools to join him for a meeting to discuss the reform or abolish of football. In December 1905, 13 presidents declared their intent to reform the game of football. When this group met 3 weeks after their first initial meeting, 62 colleges and universities sent representatives to formulate rules making football safer and more exciting to play. 7 years later, in 1912, the Intercollegiate Athletic Association of the United States took the name the National Collegiate Athletic Association, NCAA.
Controversy in collegiate athletics. Paying player salaries, it's always been a main topic, whether to pay them or just not pay them at all. Debate whether college athletes are just employees or students. If they're employees, they're going to pay them. There's going to be minimum wages and all that 10 yards. They make the university money, but they are students, so you have to put that in your own debate on whatever you guys believe. And benefits for athletes, whether they should be able to receive like certain items from
Boosters
and alumni and stuff like along those lines.